Okay, so this is pretty big news. This is pretty cray-cray. We've got a lawsuit involving Katie, WOACB. Now, most of you guys know that I got roped into covering her lawsuit with Toddy Westbrook, and it turned into this massive ordeal. Well, while we were covering that lawsuit, she got involved in 3 other lawsuits. So, first thing I'm going to do is try to give you an update on where those lawsuits are. And the reasoning for doing this, of course, is because the lawsuit with the YouTuber whom I call the Lobster Man, Steve McRae, that lawsuit has been dismissed as of today with prejudice. With prejudice means that he can't bring those claims against her. It means he lied to everybody. It means that he is every word. If you go back over a period of a couple years, he's talked about how he's going to sue Katie and why. And many people on the internet will go, like Menace to Sobriety, and grab video clips that prove he is telling a literal lie about what happened. Use the Lobster's own words and debunk the claims. And then, of course, because these people, this group of people that basically have helped him do this, though that group of people lie and target people that are angry at Katie so that they can rip you off. They can take your cash. Oh, I see we got a Nate the lawyer in here. Nate, if you want to talk at all, any of you that want to talk, I understand if you can't, if you're busy, but anyone can raise their hand and I'll let you jump in and join this Twitter space. If you're busy and you just want to listen, that's fine. So, oh, looks like he popped out. He probably just doesn't want to get involved with this shit. I probably shouldn't have said anything. Anyway, so here's the deal. You guys know he filed a suit against Katie, a defamation suit. Now, those of you, oh shit, I need to actually do a video about Truth Sleuth also, but I think I'm going to upload that to YouTube. So what he did is he drafted this lawsuit. Now, if you actually look at it, it's bad. It is bad. If you read it, it doesn't even read like a lawyer wrote it. It doesn't describe what Katie did and how it was defamatory. It doesn't describe any type of how it damaged him, and it doesn't describe the damages. It literally just has, hey, look, Katie lied about me. It really looks like he drew up his own lawsuit. Now, that's happened in his last lawsuit. But either way, that's a commentary on either the cheapness of the lawyers he hired, or for some more conspiratorial people, they believe he wrote the lawsuit with a couple of his friends and then just paid a lawyer to file it. It's actually a very common practice for people that have that kind of knowledge, or the people who want to attempt to appear like they do. So what he did is he gave this lawsuit, he used the hate that was the trend. See, this is what people aren't realizing. Someone like Toddy Westbrook, there are people that hold enough clout, they hold enough fame, that they themselves just participating in something, it's like the clout reigns around them, okay? And some people run out into the fucking rain to try to get covered in as much clout as they can off of that big YouTuber. And Toddy Westbrook is that big. She was huge. She was involved with some of the biggest YouTubers around a certain time on the platform, okay? But she also was involved in the huge, very big controversy, okay? And when she sued Katie, I said it in the beginning, it would create a massive trend, and that there would be people that would try to skirt on that trend like every other trend out there. That's what this is. Not only that, it was a way for them to not only manipulate the fame of Toddy Westbrook, but to manipulate the notoriety and the fame that Katie Joy Paulson has, due to the fact that these people target her like this, solidifying her as someone who has the attention of famous people regardless. And what these people have done, the people in this cult that I used to talk about a lot when they were relevant to the smallest degree, they're not now. What they were doing was trying to use the clout. It's a social construct. It's a real thing. Oh, it's not real, it's imaginary. If it's not real, why do you see people standing out front of celebrity concerts crying their fucking eyes out? If it's not real, why do you see people that have literal shrines devoted to their favorite celebrities and shit? This is a real thing. Are you following me? It is a social construct, but it's a real thing. And these are the people who don't go out and support someone that they like. They don't even go out and just attack somebody who they don't like, because that's normal. Both those sides are normal. To criticize someone you don't like and to support somebody you like, those are normal. We're talking about the lowest of the low. We are talking about the lowest of the low, because these people take these situations and they say to themselves, how can I lie, make myself a victim while victimizing the person I hate, and then monetize it for money? That's what they do. And if you don't believe me, the clips are there. And I'm not even going to go into it because I could, break it down for you, but it's not worth it. They're too irrelevant. Steve McRae filed this lawsuit to get your money. I really don't think any of them will listen to this, but he filed this lawsuit not to get justice, which is what he lied and screamed about all that time. He didn't file this lawsuit to make things right. He didn't file this lawsuit to get anything. He depending on the phase of the lawsuit, he would tell you a different reason for why he was filing it. In the beginning, it was justice. He has good credit. He'll get a credit card if he has to. He'll get a job if he has to, but he needs your money too. You've got to help him for some reason. Right? Remember all that? If you help him, and he will file this lawsuit no matter what, and he will not settle. It's going to a jury trial. I put these tweets out. These aren't just tweets. Clip after clip after clip of him. On top of that, Truth Sleuth is busted. You're busted, Truth Sleuth. Can't even believe people watch her. She went and covered this lawsuit, okay? And he gave her everything to say. Now, she surprised people by messaging Menace to Sobriety and asking him for evidence. And he gave it to her. Literal video clips that would show that when he's sitting there saying that a certain claim in his lawsuit, he's lying. Or how about when he says that VAWA, the Violence Against Women Act, didn't apply to his lawsuit, right? Because that's a literal claim in his lawsuit. But then Menace has evidence that it does apply. So what did Truth Sleuth do? Uploaded a video, lied, and said that it had been filed in court, but while telling people to donate. And on top of that, she said that they were in discovery. They weren't even filed in court yet. She had to know this. She was told this. You have to start asking yourself, why do these people lie for each other? Why do they go up there and do this in a group setting? We know why Steve did it. He did it to make money off of the people that would pay money to support his Fraudraiser, his LOL suit. Right? Now, what he did is he manipulated a thing called hip pocket service. It's very easy to understand. So let's pretend that I sued Katie instead of Steve, but she was in New York. She was in a different state than Minnesota. Before you sue someone, you send them a letter. You say, yo, you defamed me. I want $50,000. Pay me or I'm suing you. they'll say, go to hell, and you go and sue them. In Minnesota, they force you to show evidence that you messaged them and tried to settle. You told them what you wanted, what your desire of your lawsuit was. You said that to them, the goal, and they came back and told you, I'm not settling, okay? And all Hip Pocket does is basically take the process of me and you deciding if you're gonna pay me what I say you owe me or go to court, and they make it an initial part of what's going on. So Hip Pocket doesn't mean the lawsuit was filed. It's a separate process. And how do you know this? Because if you go search for the lawsuit, it was never filed in court. So when Truth Sleuth, when these people tell you that he's suing Katie, they lied to you. They lied. All he did was send a letter telling Katie what he wanted. Katie sent a letter back to him saying, oh, well, I actually have a counter lawsuit against you. He looked at that countersuit. His lawyers looked at that countersuit and they immediately stopped. But he kept e-begging. He kept e-begging for the money, but he stopped being all crazy and defamatory against Katie. You can go back and check this. He was scared by the counter. So what have I done? What has Menace done? What has other YouTubers out there done this entire time in this story? We took the claims that were made in the lawsuit and went and showed evidence that either proved that the claims were true or we debunked the claims. We did this and we warned people that they were being lied to, and we showed them the proof. We told them we knew that he was going to defraud this Fraudraiser. We told everybody that we knew this would happen because he took things that weren't true, wrote them in the lawsuit, and then sent it to Katie instead of to the court and didn't file it. 1 year, you have 1 year to complete your Hip Pocket. That was today. It's been dismissed. This is an absolute Fraudraiser. Now, here's the kicker, y'all. If you notice when these people do this, you go and look into the background of what's happened in the past. They do this all the time. Just like Molly Golightly, just like all these other fraudsters out there. They do this repeatedly. It's literally how they make their money. This is not the first GoFundMe he's ran to sue somebody where literally he did nothing. It's not the first. He did one for saying that he had to sue Kyle for a DMCA strike. And the sick thing about that is that fundraiser happened exactly when he needed money to negotiate with Katie for an NDA. Months later, he admitted that the DMCA fundraiser money went to pay for the NDA. But that's not what the fundraiser was for. It was against the terms of service of GoFundMe. He has violated the terms of service of GoFundMe again. And it is up to everybody to go out and report to GoFundMe what he's done, so they finally kick him off the site. Not just that, though. Everybody knows the local precinct where he did this. People that donated to this should be filing reports. People should be filing reports. They were lied to. They were used. He was not honest. If you could go to his fundraiser and see updates on it, telling you each phase of it, showing you what's been filed. You know, he promised full transparency, right? He promised full transparency, and just like Molly Golightly and just like all the rest, not only has he done this multiple times, he has been heavily involved in the past Fraudraisers. Remember Sean's Fraudraiser for tens upon tens of thousands of dollars? He was the one that mostly shared it on his channel. with Reds and the rest of them, FTFE. Also, if we look at the other fundraisers, he was defending the fake cancer fundraiser. When each of these fundraisers were busted, even though his audience gave massive amounts of money to these fundraisers, he didn't even go live and tell them. He didn't even encourage them to get a refund or report it. He's there to use them. He's there to spit on them. He just hates these people. That's why he's always screaming at them. It's why he's always lying to them. It's why he's always trying to use them to hate other people. It's because he doesn't really care about those people that watch it. He doesn't give a fuck. He fucking hates them. These people are nothing but hate. The people that supported his lawsuit, he lost. If Katie would have had her lawsuit against Steve dismissed with prejudice, they would all be live celebrating right now. Instead, they're trying to deflect attention. There are channels where every day almost they were told to go donate to the fundraiser and how good of a case this was. The reason he didn't pursue the case is because he was trying to get your money. We could go in and talk about the receipts that he put out. We could talk about the receipts that he put out. Those receipts are the shadiest things anyone's ever seen. He blacked out even the name of the person's account that was being paid to. So if you think those receipts show anything related to this issue, you're crazy. There's always a reason. Remember, when people have these giant flags of proof, they want to put the proof out so that it'll incite people to donate. That's what gets people feeling comfortable. That's what makes them open their wallets. Do you think that if he had any proof at all, he wouldn't have went and posted it directly to the GoFundMe? He wouldn't have went and did videos about it. He's desperate for views, desperate for clicks. This has to do with Katie, someone who he's been trying to literally lick the ground she walks on to get YouTube views off of her for years now. And you want to know the sick part? The sickest part of this. Why did I cover the non sequitur issue up to the Toddy Westbrook issue up to now? Because I know what it's like to have a family member be stalked. I know what it's like to have someone be sexually harassed and have sick ass shit said to him. And this case is now archived from the very beginning of the issue to now. Anyone could go and pull screenshots of everything that happened and prove to them the truth. Not everybody in this world is a good person. There are a lot of evil people out there. You understand me? There's a lot of people that don't care about the truth. You just gotta fucking ignore them. They don't matter. They live in a dream world. They literally take the words that come out of someone's mouth and believe them. They are sheep. Literally cult members in this situation when it comes to the inner circle. My point is, for the people out there, which is the large majority of everyone, most people are good people. And most people don't want to be lied to. They don't want to be ripped off. They don't want people using them. Your money is a representation of your time. It's essentially it's a representation of you putting in your sweat, your blood, and your tears into your day for your work. And thankfully, our society gives us a measurement of the time you put in to a value. And thankfully, people are good enough in this world to donate part of their money and try to help others. Don't tell me that people don't try to abuse that kindness. Don't tell me that people aren't ripping people off left and right out there. The internet, for those of you that weren't around from the beginning, the entire time on the internet, it's been used to rip off other people. It's just has to be that way because of the anonymity of the early internet. The point is, though, as time's gone forward, this anonymous internet has become less anonymous, but people are scamming just as much. This is you witnessing the flow of how law and order becomes, okay? New laws are going to get drafted. Regulation is going to come out because of people like Molly Golightly, because of people like Steve McRae. Every one of those regulations, every one of those laws will come with a sacrifice of your freedom and your ability to do what you want, exchanging information with people on the internet, so that there's a level of safety in punishing people when they do what these people do. If you translate what they've done to the real world, they would be getting arrested right now. You know it. I know it. Now, Molly Golightly, she's got about the intelligence level of a wet fucking noodle, okay? But, and the thing is, she doesn't claim to be super smart. I'm not putting her down. She literally gets up there and just, tells you. So that's fine. The other guy, the lobster man, Steve McRae, though, claims that he's a super intelligent philosopher. Okay? Don't tell me he doesn't know that he's ripped these people off. Don't tell me he doesn't know that he's lied to these people. And don't tell me that he's not going to do it again. Because he will. He will. I, at one time, noticed that our speech was being censored on YouTube, and I dropped everything I was doing, and I went on a campaign to expose the conspiracy theorists and fraudsters that were taking advantage of everybody on YouTube so that they could make a shit ton of money by lying and all that garbage and ripping people off. And we got results, okay? I'm just going to be real with all of you. I don't have it in me to do it again. I want to pursue creative endeavors, right? I want to do what I originally did, and I want to entertain people again. And I will. I'll still bust these fuckers, and I'll just do it in the funniest way I can. That's my commitment to you. If I have to cover any of this garbage, I'm going to meme the fuck out, or I'm not doing it. So we got to make that deal. We got to make that deal if I'm going to keep going. And I'm going to push for YouTube to act. Do not tell me YouTube has not acted in the past. We pushed for years to get YouTube to step in, to do things about QAnon, to do things about Pizzagate, and to do things about the rampant conspiracy theories. I didn't want them banned. I didn't even want them demonetized. I wanted people that broke the terms of service to be banned. Right? I didn't know how YouTube worked back then. YouTube isn't a room full of people, y'all. It's not a room full of people. A room full of people can only handle one issue at a time. On YouTube, it's a massive, massive thing. I can barely describe how big it is daily. The amount of hours. I can barely fathom the storage space and how it works. And I've worked on computers since I was born. Okay? What I'm saying is, the rule of YouTube will always be an algorithm. Okay? And there will always be holes in that algorithm because it's a computer. It's always going to make mistakes. YouTube needs to be able to act on these kind of frauds. Without YouTube, they would not have been able to do this. If they would have went to Gab, if they would have went to another video hosting site, there wouldn't be an algorithm that was big enough and other creators bringing enough people in to make this kind of thing happen. Molly Golightly would be literally raising $5, and I don't even think the Lobster Man would have 2 viewers. YouTube needs to step up and ban people who constantly defraud their audience. YouTube needs to come in and at least demonetize them and at least have their pay sources banned, like PayPal and Venmo. People like Letitia shouldn't have an opportunity to have people donate massive amounts of money to them. Because people like Letitia, as much as everybody hates her, she literally is a type of person who, if Molly, Leslie, or Justin would have just told the truth, been honest, and told you, hey guys, just letting you know before you donate to Letitia, she's got a lot of charges for stealing money, for defrauding money, and doing all this shit in her past. So if you want to help her, you can help her, but just know that. They held that thing. But the problem is, Letitia has a problem. She takes advantage of people. She's a bad person. Maybe one day she won't be, right? But she is. It's not just that these people are defrauding. In the Steve McRae situation, what was the first public issue between Steve and Katie? Well, let me tell you. Well, first, let me tell you Letitia. Letitia got brought into this because without a family member, Molly and Justin and Leslie would have a hard time generating that kind of, system to get those donos rolling. Now roll over to Steve McRae. Steve McRae's first interaction, whether you hate Steve or Katie or love them or are neutral to them, it is a factual, admitted history that he was saying sexual things to Katie. Katie told him to stop. He said he would stop. A short time later, Kyle walked away from the fucking mic to go piss or whatever he was doing, and Steve literally said sick-ass, disgusting shit to Proposition Katie, and she had enough and finally opened her mouth in a side chat of a live stream while Kyle was talking and typed, he said inappropriate things to me too. And Steve saw an opportunity. Steve SH'd this woman, and then he saw an opportunity to take that moment and get her back for telling on him and get her back for typing. He was so nervous and angry. He didn't even respond to Katie speaking on this. He was responding to her typing a sentence in a side chat about an issue that had happened a few weeks before. Right? And he saw dollar signs. Now, at that time, if you weren't following this, he was suing Kyle. And he fucking went and talked about suing Kyle so much his audience was done. They left. He had to bring in a new audience, and that's what he did by taking Katie's statement and turning it into him and his audience. And we have all of this saved. There's video after video of all of this for anyone that actually gives a fuck about reality. Him and his friends would go on Twitter and demand that she make a statement. What do you mean? I thought she defamed your ass. I thought it wasn't true. So why are you demanding a fucking statement from her, right? And now all this time later, this has been years, people. Years. I always make this point when I talked about this story. You can take the amount of things that he has said and done, and if it's in a video, you translate it to text and put it on a column. And you can take the amount of things that Katie has said and done, translate it to text if it's a video, and put it in a column on your computer. The monitor on Steve's side would go into fucking space, and that's not an exaggeration. The monitor on Katie's side would barely go above your chest level. It's just a fact. It's just a fucking fact. What is really defamation or defamatory? It doesn't matter. We're not lawyers. We don't do that shit. But we're also not doxers. We're not here to pry into your life, your private life. We're here to talk about the public shit you do on YouTube. But you should care about all the other shit. Only in very special situations should you. And in this situation, he fucking did it. It's something he had a habit of doing, which was saying gross ass shit to women. And yes, this is public. It's not deniable. The clips are innumerable and they're disgusting. It's cringy. You can go to some of the cringiest locales. Wings of Redemption has barely ever said a single sexual thing to a woman. DSP has never, that I've ever heard, said a sexual thing to a woman, and barely even made a sexualized joke. They're very tame, everything that's come out of their mouth. Steve talks about literally, and I'm sorry for the ladies that are in here, there are video clips of him talking about him and the people in the chat with him putting their penises together into Cheshire's mouth and ejaculating. And you're gonna tell me that he didn't SH Katie. But him saying all that dirty stuff doesn't mean that he did. The motherfucker admitted it, y'all. He's changed his story so many times we can't count them, and I don't know why I even have to say this again, so let's just end this out. This is a targeted harassment campaign that for the people who have followed me, I have shown you the dangers of these types of campaigns, how depraved, sick, perverted minds will target other people regardless if they're married or not, because they have no values, no morals, no ethics. They will use the clout and success of other people and not go there for a content-based expression, not go there for any type of actual thing. They will just play victim, whine and cry, and beg for money. And I've also shown you the mentally weak side of the internet that has not educated themselves to the point where they can fact check. They have not educated themselves to be wary of these types of con men and scammers. But the last point I'll make is the most important point. Do you agree with me that the internet is lacking when it comes to enforcement of crimes, especially monetary in nature? Yes, it's a new technology. It's new. We had thousands of years of detectives and PIs tracking down people and taking them in to keep cities and towns and settlements safe. Thousands of years. We've had, 25, 15 years of the internet's current state? Because you can't use it when the internet was really slow. You have to agree with me. The internet is lacking on the enforcement of crimes, especially of a financial level. When you're dealing with any new frontier, any new thing, whether it's telephone, there were telephone scams, by the way. People have been arrested for them. Mailing. There were mailing scams, by the way. Lots of people were arrested for them, right? Every form of communication has involved people taking advantage, stealing from others, using it to stalk people. These are all facts. And our internet is in the infancy. It's not even walking yet when it comes to protecting people from scams. You got CoffeeZilla, you got myself, and you got Menace to Sobriety, Nate the Lawyer, and a few other YouTubers where we actually do this all the time, right? My second point is, when dealing with, that was my first point, the internet is in its infancy when it comes to enforcement. My second point is that the only way to decide the morality and criminality of an issue happening on the internet is to translate it into real life, right? The internet is literally just a method of communication. We all know this. It is just something that allows us to communicate. One day, we might have technology that allows us to press a button and appear in a room somewhere. You know, science fiction. We might not sit on the internet. We might actually watch videos by pressing a button and all appearing in a big fucking skyscraper somewhere. Just like the whole mythology of my YouTube channel. So what do you do when you try to take the internet being in its infancy and ask yourself if what's happening is illegal or not, or immoral or unethical, or if it's wrong. You translate it to real life. Take the internet out of the picture, because the things happening are happening to people. They are giving real money, real time, real energy, right? Is the money that they send to each other fake internet play money, or is it real? Oh, it's real. Well, then we can take the internet, the communication, just like if we were scamming someone by phone, we could take the phone out of the picture and then ask ourselves, what is the morality of what's happening? So point number 2 is, if you all were in a big town together, and instead of him putting his lawsuit up on a GoFundMe page and using the internet to e-beg for months, and other YouTubers to e-beg, if instead Truth Sleuth had a, let's say that Truth Sleuth has a theater in the town. He has a small stage somewhere in a fucking back alley that he speaks on, his hobo ass. Other YouTubers all have these little stages, and what you do is you walk around, and if you want to watch a YouTube video, you go to that stage and listen. And when you're at his stage, he e-begs and talks about his lawsuit and gets you all to fund it. And instead of him walking into the courthouse and suing Katie, he did not. And when you compare the promises that he made when you gave the money to the effort he took to file the lawsuit, he defrauded you all. He lied to you all. He stole money from you all. It wouldn't even be a question. You all would walk your asses, because remember, there's no internet or phone, down to the police station. You would let them know this motherfucker did this, and he would be on a wagon with a horse pulling it, trying to ride out of town as fast as he could, changing his appearance and going somewhere else so that he doesn't get arrested and thrown in prison for stealing all that money from you guys. If this wasn't done on the internet, he would be a snake oil salesman, and he would be chased out of town. How much did he get? $5,000. But his GoFundMe was only for $4,000 some. People sent money to his PayPal. Oh, they did. You can look at his live chats and see that people sent money to his PayPal for this lawsuit. It was $5,000 at the minimum. Do you remember what I showed you on that website? Well, I'll just tell you how to find it. If you weren't watching my video, you can go type in top GoFundMe scams. And one of the web pages will be like top 5 or top 10 GoFundMe scams. It'll tell you how someone was going to hold a memorial duck hunt for $5,000. They kept the money. They got 2 years in prison and 1.5 years probation. Factual. I can even tell you their name. I could fucking interview them if I wanted to. I could go down a list of fundraisers that are all less than or equal to his, where people got prison time. I could go down a list of fundraisers that are just a little bit over his and have 1 million more. Enforcement happens. So what does that tell us about this situation? We're not the law. We're not. We are members of a community. When you live in a community, you may hate your fucking neighbor, but you are in a community with them. You got the same fucking cops. You got the same town square, the same city council. It's just a fact, y'all. You could hate everyone for whatever reason, right? But the point is, you still can't allow people doing this shit to people, because it'll happen to you, or it'll happen to one of your kids, one of your friends, or someone you know. And this is what it does. You can debate me on this. I've tried to get him and Red's Rhetoric and all these scammers to debate me on Modern Day Debate and on Cat's Debate channel. They run like the cowards they are every time. And I've got video clips of them admitting it. They use gaslighting and lies. That's how he defrauded the DMCA fundraiser, but ran another fundraiser to fake sue Katie. So the end question is, what do we fucking do? What do we do? Do I add this in to the fundraisers that we're talking about right now? Because tonight we're going to be talking about Ryan Upchurch, an issue he's having. We're going to be giving updates on the Molly Golightly situation. We got a lot going on. I'm really going to try to get Ryan Upchurch on my channel. If you don't know who he is, he's a really big YouTuber. We got a lot going on. We're talking about a man who is completely irrelevant. He streams to 15 people, and his ex-co-host streamed to 6 people. And no, this wasn't just at the beginning of the stream. And yes, this just happened. What is it? It's not worth it. Doesn't make any money. You know, all these people say, Uni only does stuff for money. He's such a money doer guy. Every time they see a super chat come in. But they won't look at the years of me covering irrelevant situations, literally because they have to be documented. Something has to happen, or this shit will never stop. You know? We are YouTubers. We have the fucking, if you want to talk, if anyone wants to raise their hand, you can. I don't mind having you talk. Just letting you know. But we are YouTubers. We used to exist off of ad revenue. I used to exist solely off of ad revenue in 2016, 2017. YouTube reduced it by like 100%. I mean, like fucking not 10%. Like we make like 91% reduced off. And we make a small percentage of what we used to make in ad revenue, if we make ad revenue at all after demonetization. And I'm sorry, this is how we exist now. If you go and you do really good work, you get a base of people that really like what you do. Each of them throw you $1, $5. And what these people do, they don't have content. They're not good at what they fucking do. Look at Molly Golightly. She literally goes live and just sits there acting like a fucking dummy. Look at Steve. He literally goes live and just sits there acting like a dummy. Both of those people say extremely disgusting sexual things. You don't see other YouTubers doing that. Both of those people constantly are begging for money for someone. You rarely see other YouTubers do that. Both of those people are constantly, literally taking issues that involve themselves being injected into a story that either involves harassment, sexual harassment, the R word, or someone being murdered or missing. And they don't go in and attempt to cover the situation in any type of responsible or respectful way. I'm just describing them. They can exist like this. That's fine. But the point is, then they take some very successful other person. They do not criticize. They do not do good content. They don't explain things to you. They don't update you. They don't give a criticism where the person can succeed if they do this, and the person can fail if they do this, which is called a criticism. When you criticize somebody and every choice they make, they fail, that's called being a hater, drinking the haterade. Got me? But my point is, they both do this. Molly, Steve, they do this. And they are the ones who will always have their hand out. And is it any coincidence that you don't even have other YouTubers have this happen once, twice, 3 times, 4 times to them? You got me? You never have people have it once. These 2 people have this happen constantly. So my last point, I want someone out there to rebut me. I want them to, for the first time ever, actually rebut my argument that this is wrong. It's mistreating the people out there. It's mistreating the original story, gaslighting, lying. And if it wasn't through the internet and this had happened in person, they would have already been arrested by now. People would be able to go file a report where they got their shit stolen and they were lied to so that someone could get their money and waste it. Your money was wasted. If they would have went to court, if it would have been filed in court and the judge would have thrown it out, I wouldn't be able to say this. it wasn't filed in court. How much is fucking Hip Pocket Service? $300. $300 for him to file this in court so that you can at least say that your money went to suing Katie, but he didn't do it. He owes every dime of that fucking fundraiser back. He owes all of those super chats and all of those PayPal donations where people said, this is for your lawsuit, back. But he won't. He's a taker. He's a user. He's a fucking liar. And if you don't think that he's going to lay low, one of two things is going to happen. Number one is 99.99% going on into infinity here. Got me? And that is him ignoring this, laying low, coming back, attacking and creating a big drama to try to deflect from this, while having his little shitheads fucking go out and try to create a distraction. That's number one. The 0.01% of this situation, or 0.0001 option, is that he will have a boom fit live where he claims that it's her fault and he didn't lie or something. But you know what? He fucked himself this time. Because too many times has he been live or tweeting and telling us exactly what he was going to do with that money. He said he's not going to stop no matter what, even if he's got to get credit cards and max them out, even if he's got to get a job. He's going to stop, and he's not going to stop until it is ruled on by a jury or a judge or something. That is what he said he'd do with that money. He didn't do it. He didn't even get close. He didn't even file in court. And Truth Sleuth and every other YouTuber that lied and told people that he did file in court, told people that they were in discovery, you should be fucking ashamed. You should be fucking ashamed. Get up here, Spackle. Hey, what's up? Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Oh, yeah. How are you?
Oh, I'm really sick. But I did want to point out that EKC said she saw the receipts last night. I was in her chat, and I was kind of bringing up some of your points last night. And some people were asking more questions, and other people were like, so what? What about Kyle? But
what? Kyle?
Right, they brought up Kyle. You know, what a battery. That's what they do. But I was like, well, Kyle got a lawyer, didn't he? But that was
the money's gone. Yeah, there's a difference between Steve and Kyle. Yeah. Kyle actually spent the money on what he said he would. Kyle spent the money on what he said he would. Steve literally didn't even file it in court. He defrauded the entire thing. There's no question here. Yeah, but go ahead. Sorry.
But the key is that EKC tweeted just today, I have the receipts, or I've seen the receipts.
Sure she has. That's called damage control. So why didn't she post them?
Right. You know, so when have we heard that before?
Oh, yeah. Secret evidence. Every time. It's another secret evidence. Because if they post it, we're going to fucking fact check it. And every time it never shows what they say. If it's even not, half the time it's fake. These are the people, mind you, who are constantly having fake shit shown. And then they make these excuses and run off when you debunk them. But it never stops. You know, I've reduced this story down to Twitter. I'm not even trying to take it to YouTube. And EKC's just a fucking fraud and a liar. She, you know, if you're going to get up on your channel and you're going to share this fundraiser or this fundraiser and this lawsuit, and you're going to say that it's the best lawsuit out there, okay? When it gets thrown out with prejudice, you're going to go to your channel, you're going to apologize to the people who you coerced into donating, and you're going to tell them what actually fucking happened. Has she done that?
No. What she did was she showed this fundraiser, and then now when you ask questions in chat, you have Claire Bear, top mod for EKC, going, that's some damn fuckery. Be polite. Stay on topic. And I was like, well, it is related. You guys are reading Steve and KJP's DMs right now.
Wait. So was she trying to get people to stop talking about the Fraudraiser?
Yeah.
You gotta be fucking kidding me.
She said, if I have a problem, go ask Steve. I'm blocked by Steve.
Hold on now. So on the fucking channel that was used to convince people for the longest amount of time the channel that was called out for lying over and over and over about this issue, about this lawsuit and this fundraiser.
They're moving responsibility to Steve. They say it's all Steve.
So they can
go to him for receipts.
Before it's dismissed, those same people could sit in there and tell people, oh, Steve's going to win. You got to donate. He's going to take down Katie. Oh. And literally, the irony is, this is the cult that I always talk about. Those people are the cult. They go in and say that they don't make any money for doing this. They don't do it. They don't get anything for doing this, out of this. Why is it that they keep defrauding their audience out of money for him for years, literally using Katie's name? I mean, these are disgusting fucking people, man. Again, if we take this and just translate it to real life, these are the people that go knocking on your door crying, saying, you've got to help me. And you give them a bunch of money, and then you see them walking out of Walmart with a fucking flat screen. And when you go up to them, they block you. They put their hand up and block you and say, go talk to Steve. And they walk out with their flat screen. Hey, let's go watch a movie, Claire. Okay. Sorry, go ahead. Let me pick one of my 16 accents and then we'll watch the movie. Hello, it's me, Claire. I'm British now. Give me a muffin and some tea and crumpets. Sorry. I mean, literally, they've destroyed their YouTube reputation. Anytime they try to attack anybody in the future, all that person has to do to respond is call them out for being fucking thieving fraudsters. Hey, go steal some more money from your audience. Go run another fucking fake-ass lawsuit. That's what they did. No, it wasn't just it was EKC.
A set of,
go ahead, sorry.
Oh, I was just saying there's a set of EKC viewers that some of them are Charlotte's viewers too. They're actually crossovers, I've noticed, because I've been paying attention to a little bit more. And they're just like, oh, well. And I'm like, oh, so here's the thing, though. These people that kind of like go, I'm going to do a frivolous lawsuit, donate to me. And then they're like, yeah, like, he must be stopped. And he makes all these promises, doesn't follow through. And then, like, I'm thinking, like, some of these people have families. Some of these people have 6 kids. Some of these people have, like, you know, maybe they're on disability.
Yeah, no, they are.
And
they're taking people's disability money. They are.
Like, I just feel like there should be accountability with GoFundMes. Like, that's all. That's all.
You know what it is, Spackle? There needs to be accountability with YouTube. That's what it needs to be. This is underneath the terms of service under misleading content. Content where you get up there and lie to your audience repeatedly. They used to do it and push these miracle cures. We used to get them constantly, handled by YouTube. They used to do it with conspiracy theories that they invented out of nowhere that were easily debunkable. We got them off of YouTube. Now, we've got another plague of conspiracy theorists, liars, and they do it by going out and they tease that their house blew up, right? They go out and they tease that they've been defamed. They go and they literally choose to say the most sexually disgusting shit to a married woman. I don't give a fuck if you hate the married woman or not. That is what happened. Then they sue the person after years of making super chats and PayPals off of that person's name. Not by criticizing again, by fucking lying and attacking them, making up shit. I mean, it's not even worth debunking them anymore. Anyone who goes into those channels has to know that they are, that they're just in a fantasy land. Like the majority of everything is a fantasy.
Can I point something out? Steve is now like kind of DARVOing it, and he's gone live and made it about Katie's lawsuit.
Whoa.
She's previously.
When did he go live? Sorry, when did he go live?
Last night.
Oh my God,
I listened to some of it. Yeah, and he made it about her and her frivolous lawsuit and her frivolous claims. And
you know what? Oh my God, you know what I would do? I would normally go live right now after hearing that and read the countersuit. Because guess what, everybody? I have the countersuit. I have it. And I would normally go live and read that fucker and prove that I know
you might want to.
And
the reason why you might want to consider it is it kind of closes the subject, but also he also made it all about McRae too. It's all about McRae 2 and SH. It's all about that, and
But that's the thing.
forgets about.
He just had his fucking Me Too thrown out of court with prejudice because he didn't take $300 to the court and officially file. That's why can't he actually address? See, he's gaslighting, is what he's doing. He's fucking gaslighting.
But my understanding is that the suit's not harassment's not just SH. Harassment also is like what he did with her kid.
Yes.
That's and there was a certain point where we social bladed Steve, the Dragoons. We were in the Dragoons kicking it. We're just like, what is Steve doing? And we looked at him and we went, gosh, he tweets a lot. Does he ever sleep? He was literally not sleeping. He even said, I'm not sleeping. Yeah, he was tweeting at KJP once every 4 minutes.
He's alone, and he gets fucking sloshed, and then he sits in this fucking closet. And I'm not making this shit up, by the way. This is why we laughed at him for so long, because it's just incredible that a person would even admit these things about their life if they were so lazy and so incompetent to live that way. But he was in a closet sitting on a fucking van, goddamned chair, like a chair taken out of a van, because he couldn't even buy a $10 goddamn chair at Walmart to sit on. And literally just spam tweeting at whoever he's angry at. That's his fucking life. And EKC is the same. She goes out, does her like claims to have a job and do the shit she does. And then she comes home and takes out all of her hate and frustration and anger and bad choices in her life and throws them at someone else, you know? We're just literally watching some of the most hateful people that exist find other hateful people to jump into a hate train with. That's what we're watching.
So yesterday I skimmed through and watched EKC's reading of, she was Katie Joy, I think, and Nikki was Steve, and they're going through DMs. Because Steve, the most ethical man who couldn't possibly steal from a convenience store at the age of 6 or whatever the fuck he was, he never releases DMs. They're closed. Remember?
Hold on, though.
Well, he released DMs and had EKC do a reading of them. They were the most boring DMs ever. I mean, there were two like narc people bitching at each other and how they didn't like other people the whole entire time.
Wait, so he's talking about DMs they had when they got along.
Yeah, and it's so boring. They're just like, I don't like Scientist Mail. I don't like Scientist Mail either. I'm gonna have Scientist Mail blocked. Did you know Scientist Mail wanted to do a show about jelly juice? That's all they're going like. And then EKC's crowd have no idea who these people are. She couldn't even say Steve Shives. Steve Shives is a big YouTuber. She was like, Steve Shivs.
Was there any point in, like, because normally what anyone would do is they would go through the DMs, since they got them ahead of time and they scheduled this. It wasn't just given to them while they were live or something. And they would read the relevant ones. So, like, what was the point? They have to, this is what I mean by content. You know, some
distraction.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, what you got to ask yourself why. And what it happens every time he does a Fraudraiser. He gets the people that he's allied with to go out, make sure that it's something tagging the thing that's relevant to the Fraudraiser, and getting a live video up and getting like uploads up so that when people search for it, they hope they won't find somebody uploading like this conversation. By the way, anybody that wants to upload this conversation to YouTube, you have my full fucking permission. I don't know if Janie is awake yet, but put it on any channel you want. Go ahead, upload this shit. But anyway, so that's my point. Like, this is just a copy pasta. There's no doubt. Okay, we can just hammer into. I think we lost. No, Spackle's still here. Good. There's no doubt that this time we are dealing with a literal Fraudraiser. The motherfucker had, if we just go over those points so that hopefully some other YouTuber will fucking go to YouTube and goddamn, and it needs to be somebody who at least is somewhat in that community, and they go live and they just make those points. Like, look, did he fucking go to court and file the lawsuit? That's all that matters. That was his promise. And then he would have defrauded everybody if he would have filed the lawsuit. And 2 months later, the judge, kind of like what happened in the non sequitur suit. The judge has to call a meeting and say, listen, you haven't filed anything in months. If we don't see anything, I'm gonna throw this case out. Somebody do something. And in the non-sex suit, Steve rushed his lawyers to file because, they didn't want the case dismissed. Even if that happened, let's say that the case did get dismissed because Steve bails, that's a Fraudraiser. But allowing the judge to either throw this shit out because it's frivolous or make whatever determination, and that would be the thing that would qualify this as not a Fraudraiser, because he not only promised these donators that he would use their money, file in court, and try to get justice and all that bullshit he said, but he also said that no matter what happened, your money wouldn't be wasted. And I have this. We've all seen this. It's easy to find. He had good credit. He would use credit cards and max them out, and he had a job. Someone even said, motherfucker, I donated to your shit. What are you doing? And they said, why are you still sharing this shit or something when you haven't done anything? And he goes, I have a job and I'm helping file the lawsuit. I've spent money too, everybody. Literally, I just feel like I'm seeing Molly Golightly, Leslie Bass, and Justin sitting there making all of his excuses. His excuses are exactly the same. The same kind of body language, the same kind of fucking excuses. They literally go in and say, damn, I need some fucking money. I know, I'm gonna fucking sue Katie because she got mad at me and called me out when I said disgusting sexual things to her. By the way, Katie should have learned by now to go file a police report when someone does that to you. I know it sounds crazy, but literally, Steve is the reason why a woman will have an encounter with a man where they say very fucking disgusting, not just like, hey, you want to hook up, but really fucking gross shit. Like a 55-year-old to a fucking 30-year-old that's married. Gross fucking shit. And he's the reason why people will go file police reports and make sure that the cops know what happened, because they stalk the women they do this to for years. And
I remember in a live he said something like, let's turn out the lights and play a game.
Of
whose blank is this?
That was the stream where he said he was going to, him and his friends were going to push their pee-pees together and ejaculate in Cheshire's mouth. Now listen, people out there are going to say, oh, why are you guys bringing that up? Because it was right after Katie pissed him off by calling him out. In order to rebuke Katie, in order to get even with her, he went on a stream with Chesh and a few other guys and started talking about Katie, calling him out for sexual harassment. And he started to say the most disgusting things he could say while staring in the camera, exactly like he did to Katie when he said those gross things to her. It's a video clip where every time someone would say, like, you guys are lying. You guys are lying on Steve. That when I was live talking about this, that's the video clip I would pull up and play. People need to blast this, right? Like, fucking A, if some YouTuber went live and pulled that clip, not only would it be hilarious, embarrass the living fuck out of him horribly, it makes him look so gross. But, calling him out for this scam and this fraud, he's never going to stop, man. It's an I told you so moment, because people would get pissed off at us and be like, my God, you guys are laughing at this asshole again. And we'd be like, yeah, look at him. Look at the clip we have. This is the first time we've seen this. And they'd be like, oh, but, you're obsessed with them or whatever. No, this motherfucker is going to defraud you again. He's going to say something like this to another woman who's going to get upset. I mean, has this ever happened with PewDiePie, Markiplier, me, anyone else, Menace? I mean, do we say disgusting sexual things to women all the time and get in these big fucking stalking fits after the woman who gets mad and calls us out? Never. He's the only motherfucker out there. He's a special breed of disgusting on the platform. You know what I'm saying?
Well, not only that, like if I recall correctly, with Red Rampage, he was encouraging Red Rampage to SHU and saying that it wasn't SH. Well, the TCAP community seems to disagree, by the way.
Well, that's what he did. Now, Chris Hansen actually just interviewed her, and I'm hoping I've been contacted and told to be on standby because Chris might interview me for what happened, because I guess I was the first one that she did this to, right? But the thing is, though, people need to understand that what she did was literally try to go sexually harass anyone who had criticized Steve, because Steve found her, sat down in a call, and literally gave her instructions on everything to do. He is
according to her, that's what she says, and that's recorded on the archive with Green Frog. Like,
well,
she
he
says
never,
that
hey,
he did that.
He never rebutted it. He never called her a liar, so fuck him. He knows she said it. You know why I think he doesn't call her a liar? And because he knows he's lying if he does call her a liar, one, and then number two, she has a lot of dirt.
He's afraid of her.
Yeah.
I think he's afraid of her.
She has a lot of dirt. He didn't just try to do this with just me. This is why now people will say, oh, you're making a lot of assumptions about him. No, I'm not, because there's literally a trail of people who he bumped into, and the minute they start to interact on Twitter and YouTube, that person does. They would always target me, but it would always escalate it escalated until Jessie did what she did. Because Jessie did literally, she tried to frame me with having DMs with her. And this, again, is a reason why I have a no DM policy, right? But,
Well, I mean, just for the people that may not know, JKJ Red Rampage wandered and stumbled like an idiot to the TCAP community and started pulling her garbage over there. She's been through a few communities, including BGTV server, and booted because of her nonsense there. No, nobody wants her. She's literally banned across so many servers now.
It's because she went into servers that had minor kids in there, like servers about certain bands.
Well,
like,
careful.
What's that?
Careful, yeah.
K-pop and shit.
So she threw things in general that could have access for young folks.
Exactly.
But not necessarily sending it directly.
So the point is, though, she is basically, so here's her shtick. What she's done is she was best friends with Steve and Chesh. And if anyone hasn't noticed this, she has emulates Cheshire's quote-unquote comedy. Now, Chesh has comedy where she thinks that if she's the grossest fucker ever and giggles about it afterwards, that she's a genius comedian, right? So she would talk about abortion and say that you should abort 0-year-olds, infants, 1-2-year-olds, and shit like that, just to get a fucking rise. And then she'd giggle and be like, oh, come on, it's a joke. It just shows how sensitive you are. So when JKJ met Chesh and Steve, she started to emulate Chesh. And then Steve
did not like it.
Oh, I know. Chesh hated it. But then Steve goes, hey, why don't you try to go show the hypocrisy of all the people who called me out for what I did to Katie? And JKJ couldn't get access to anyone. So she just tried to fake everything. But she did such a fucking horrible job of it, and it was just so over the top and crazy, that she got busted instantly. People and she admitted it too. People immediately said, "You're fucking lying. We can prove it." And before anyone even had to do anything, she said, "I know. It was a joke, y'all. Damn, why y'all so serious for?" Some shit like that, right? But my point is, again, we could do this for another hour. We could do this for the next fucking, 10 days. And we could sit for 2-3 hours doing a Twitter fucking space and literally not run out of shit to talk about due to how deep all of this goes. It's a deep rabbit hole, one of the deepest, and it involves multiple people being inducted. You could call it a mob, you could call it a gang, you could call it a cult, whatever negative group of people who get together to do these kind of things to people. However you want to classify it. It's a deep rabbit hole where they instructed and created these things to target people who just criticized them. So it's at the end point of it, the main thing is that they've lost their cult. They've lost their power. For a long time now, it's just that they keep ripping off people with these Fraudraisers by finding a new community, lying to that community, building a fake narrative. They plant people like EKC. They plant people like, I don't even know if Little Red knew they were using her for this in the beginning. I think she realized eventually. But
yeah, I don't think she knew.
They go feed the lies that they have. Fake screenshots, fake whatever. They never prove anything. And they just like they did to me. They fucking targeted me in the beginning. They came in and tried to tell me that Nate the lawyer and Drag and you and all these people and Fiona were this troll group and all this.
Yeah, you blocked me.
I blocked all of you because I was like, I don't got time to deal with no drama, and I'm just here to do a video. And then I realized when I talked to Nate that he lied. So I've experienced this. I've literally lived through it. Now, the point is, you don't have to connect everything. It's not a conspiracy theory. It's called a fact, okay? When you can show that they have a repeating, constant goal, money and revenge, and they have a constant methodology going into a new community, lying, faking things, and duping people while planting plants to make people like, so that people go like, well, damn, if EKC's saying all this happened, it has to be true. She had to have fact checked it. Oh, she showed a screenshot? Oh, okay, thanks. Using misinformation. And I promise you, the minute that they can't milk this anti-Katie community anymore, it'll be a new community. They will find one. I can name them. Let's just name them real quick. What was the first one, Spackle? What was it called at first? The very first iteration of the GDC. Was it just GDC?
Yeah, well, we were the Great Debate, and this was before the group on, and that's just what we were. We
so what was the
philosophy and religion.
It was Great Debate. He goes in, plants his plants, uses his little methods. He monetizes it. He creates a Patreon and a channel for it. All the money goes to him, kicks all the people out that were originally there, destroys the community. Then he moves on to non-sec, does the same thing there, ends up not only ripping people off there, constant fundraisers in the non-sec. And he uses him, Bull, Reds. They get kicked out of the non-sec for ripping people off and saying disgusting sexual shit to people and harassing people. So then they go and they try to take over the Guardian group, immediately take it over, immediately become the Guardians, immediately ruin it, immediately destroy it. And then they move on. They start mixing with the anti-KJ crowd.
Wait, did we skip the time when you went on Instagram for that mom-daughter people?
Teen mom, sorry, yeah. Mixed himself into the teen mom. I mean, there's like 19 more I'm probably not even going to remember. And the thing is, the next time they go move into a new community, I don't give a fuck. I'm not going to call them out this time. You know, I've done my fucking, my part here. I've laughed at everything there is to laugh at these people. They've literally been milked of every lol. Their udders have run dry. And what that means is that you can still cover it, but there won't be any laughs. There's not going to be anything funny. There's no memes. All that's left is hatred. All that's left is conning people. There are people out there who gave money because they were trying to fucking help someone, and they lessened their life. Whether it's groceries, whether it was for the rent, whether it was for a grandkid, whether it was for a child, so that they could give money to this lawsuit. And they got ripped off. They were lied to. They were used. Those people who experienced that, and someone donated $1,000 fucking dollars in the memory of their friend who passed away. So my point is, these people gave, and some people out there hold a pretty damn valid opinion, which is these people donated for a hateful reason. The evidence that they were being conned was right in front of their face. They were warned and they chose to do it anyway. Let them be ripped off. I completely agree with that. I really do. I think that's the best logic in this scenario. Though, that doesn't mean that he doesn't get reported for what he did. Him and Molly Golightly get reported for what they fucking did. Every other YouTuber that does this gets reported for what they did. That's what happens from now on. Anyone else wants to talk, all you got to do is hit the request button. We ain't mean here. I know this isn't the nicest, happiest little fucking chat. I'll try to make the next one happier. We're dealing with...
Speak for yourself. I'm a sociopath.
I mean, you know, we're dealing with the end of a long story, a long era. In the beginning, in January of 19, I went to one of my channels and I told everybody what happened. I said that Steve and Red's Rhetoric and all of their friends are a real life group of people that try to fool people online into believing that they're just these internet buddies. And they go get giant sums of money out of people with fake tragedies, fake victimhood scenarios, and they've been doing it for years. That was in 2019. It is August of 2022, and we've covered massive Fraudraisers. We've covered this Fraudraiser alone. Steve's Fraudraiser got a woman 2.5 years in prison for $5,000. You're not supposed to do this. You have to actually fucking update the people that give the money. You have to actually do the right thing with the money. You have to fucking go to the lawyer, post the receipts, have your lawyer record a fucking message to the donators, or maybe give you permission to do it. Whatever you got to do, but you have to update people. They have to know that you didn't just take their money, go to Applebee's, get drunk, fucking take pictures of some woman and have her brother come and smash your fucking head in the ground. By the way,
Applebee's on a date night.
How is it that these people don't see this? We've shown that every Fraudraiser they do, magically, Cheshire and Steve, Reds does a Fraudraiser, Cheshire and Steve all of a sudden are showing off their super expensive food that they hardly ever get the chance to buy, or their brand new fucking technology. Or when Steve does a Fraudraiser, 2-3 days later has a brand new laptop. Well, my landlord gave it to me, found it in a room. Whatever, bitch, you just did a Fraudraiser.
Found it in the room of the studio?
Found it in a room that he had to dodge like 3 other homeless dudes that all... This landlord, for some reason, every closet in his house has like 4 homeless dudes sitting on fucking vehicle seats. They're all sitting in their car seat going, thinking that they're driving around, and they're, hey, dude, get out of the way, bro. Clean up your poo-poo. Quit pooing on your car seat.
She might have a big, giant heart. Like, I gotta say, like, that woman, you know, like, I don't really have anything bad to say about her. She just might have a giant heart. And I guess he met her at McDonald's, and they used to talk on the bus together. That's literally the story he told last night. He met her at McDonald's, and they talked on the bus.
He's a fucking hobo, bro.
I know. I'm not bashing her. I just kind of giggled at him.
No. I think it's generous. You know, I think it's dangerous. I think it's crazy, but I think it's generous. That's what you're supposed to do, man. That's what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to help people. You know, but that's the thing. Helping people also is standing up for other people who believe people's lies. He bills himself. Just like FTFE sits and tells people he's got this nuclear degree. You get me? I don't know if he does. He could. But Steve went around telling people that he had some fucking... trying to make people think that he fucking works on nuclear engines and shit. He doesn't. He didn't. It's just a big story. So why is it that every fucking thing that he tells ends up being an overinflated fucking story? It's to build the narrative.
Can I tell you a lie that I noticed?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I knew the truth, but Steve always said Look-a-Pig was those people's friends like TST and Dragoons. I just wanted to point out that in the DMs that he released that EKC was so kindly reading out, he references Look-a-Pig as a friend.
Well, exactly, and this is my thing. Like, that's what I mean when I say that for people who... I had just stopped doing my nightly live show. I needed a locale to cover, right? I love that shit. Ever since I've been on the fucking internet. Where's my dog? Where'd he go, Rachel? I needed to eat this sausage. I literally lost him. Harles. How do you lose a dog? Oh, there he is. Here, buddy. You want a bite? You want a bite?
I was hoping that people like Machete Suzanne would wake up, but I guess not. I think they're just so like sold out against KJP that she can't even like look at Steve and realize who he is.
It's the fake sub number, man. Like, I've seen it so many times on the platform. You know, I always say that you don't want to buy subs because it'll destroy your channel. Like, a lot of people look at my channels, Rock a Lot and UniRock 2, or even my old one, UniRock TV, and they're like, Uni gets so fucking lucky. I don't get lucky. I know how to do tags. I know how to do titles. And I know how to live stream, right? So my point is, if you do get up there and you're funny and you be yourself, no matter how goofy and shitty you are, you're going to get people that watch, and you're going to succeed, and you're going to pop off, and people are going to watch your shit even for a while. When you buy subs, it takes that away. It throws off the algorithmic reading of your channel. It confuses the hell out of it. When you buy subs, it makes the algorithm think you've got this boost in subs and they're not watching your channel. And it gets confused and it stops recommending you. It literally identifies, like YouTube found out a long time ago that if people want to bot shit and do that kind of thing, that, you know, they can just take it out of the algorithm.
Well, that explains why there's so many people that are like, I have 10K subs and like 2 people are watching, sometimes 10,
there's good
13.
reasons. There's normal reasons also. If you take a break for a long time, when I first came back after I had the emergency, when I first came back, I don't know if it was Rock a Lot or UniRock 2 or whatever. No, UniRock 2, I only got like 600 views and I had 19,000 subs. That all changes very quickly once you're regularly uploading. But the thing is, buying subs, he did that. He did that like 4 or 5 times. Every time he got mad at somebody, like he got mad at me once, right? And he started buying subs. I went live. I think the video's still on my channel. And I showed everybody, hey y'all, this dude's buying subs. This is in the beginning. So it's like I was just covering it like a normal story. It wasn't something I'd regularly covered. Yo, this dude buying subs. Anyway, when I was in Discord, I told people, or maybe it was on Periscope, I told people, now you watch. I bet you he's going to get up to 17.3 or 0.4 because that's where my channel, UniRock 2, was. It was right after he started to get real fucking salty with me. And lo and fucking behold, the motherfucker grows his channel right up to 17.3. And then
but there's no evidence to see why he grows it, like the way that he does social media.
Yeah, I put all the statistics in. Yeah, he literally has subs. He had more subs joining than video views on his channel. Almost 50% or double for one day.
Yeah, that's weird. That's weird.
It's fake. It's buying subs, you know? And here's the point. What I was going to say that for is because Suzanne or whoever it is, I don't even know who that chick is. I don't even know who they are, but people will look at others and when you haven't experienced that thing on YouTube, and because I did this for 2 years before I even had 500 subs, or maybe it was a year and 10 months and I was under 500, right? And I used to look at everybody and be like, wow, oh damn, they got 5,000. Oh shit, he's got 200K and he's talking to me. Oh wow. And there is a factor to that to people. It usually wears off once you've used YouTube for like 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 years. Or if you've got your channel and it blows up or something, you start to realize like, oh, this is just normal shit, right? But anyway, that's the power that is manipulated. There is a power manipulated. There is a, you have to wait. You have to wait, home dog. You have to wait. I'll take you out in a minute. You yank me around too much. There is a power manipulation. There is a, people will call it out with big channels. I remember, I forget the dude's name, but what he was doing was dating younger women. And he was getting a lot of shit for it because they would blow up his Twitter or something because he was a huge channel. And he eventually would have relationships with them, and relationship would go bad. Eventually they'd come out and talk about it, and it happened a whole bunch of times, blah, blah, blah. This is years ago, right? So a lot of people were criticizing the power dynamic that people have. And I do think it's a real thing. And I do think people go out to manipulate it. So it's not just that one power dynamic in this situation. It's a power dynamic of victimhood It's a power dynamic of lies and narcissism and gaslighting. Some people literally get off on having power over others, okay? And that's something that literally like terrifies me, because my whole life I've never wanted to ever feel like I did something like that to another person or whatever. I think we all go through it in some way. But my thing is, like, if you could imagine the corruption, you see that every fucking bit of power, it's literally programmed into the ancient histories of humanity since the beginning of time. Even the best men can succumb to that power, because it is just the difference between man and whatever else is out there. We have that flaw. It's going to happen. You can take measures. The only measure you can actually take is to separate the power. You'll never find a way to hold it yourself and succeed. So imagine the corruption. Like, put your head in the space where you realize that you can fucking manipulate and lie and use and take to the point where someone is opening their wallet and just throwing that money at you. Someone that's disabled, someone that barely has a dime, someone that just needs to feel like they did something. And that's what unfortunately here on the internet, it's a wave of people. And if you've got that bait on the end of your fishing hook, that you've baited your hook with that shit that attracts people that need to feel that way, that need to do something. We've watched it happen over and over and over since I've been on the platform. Whether it's a raffle scam for a fucking telescope, or whether it's someone faking a gunshot on the border to manipulate the political aspect along with the fucking victimhood aspect, or whether it's a fundraiser about some lady living in a hoarding situation, burning down part of her house with a cigarette and then lying and making it look like she had fucking horrible injuries and then running off with the $80,000 Virgo, try it. Or whether it's
cancer.
Cancer.
Oh, wait,
I could
just
go
kidding.
on and on. Exactly. I could go on and on and on. And the thing that these people do is they try to tell themselves that they're not stealing and that they're not lying, and they try to program it into their own minds. Now, that's what happened to Virgo. That's what happened to, fucking fake cancer lady.
Ilya.
That's what happened with Red's rhetoric. That's what happened with Bull. That's what all these people that were doing this, they would do this and they would feel like this guilt and this issue. And though there was a select few, Reds, Bull, Steve, who realized that if they worked together, that they could get more and more and more people hooked in through presenting themselves as needing help, presenting themselves as, I'm broke and my channel's not doing good, man, and my partner left my channel and fucked me over and I'm screwed, I don't know what to do. And, going around and hooking all these bigger YouTubers, all these commentary YouTubers, all these people that just wanted to help. I was one of them. That's how they hooked me. There are some who band together, and then, like with fucking Molly, I don't know all the people she bands with, but I know there's a few, and they get these units together and they put these. It's literally. It used to be in the gold space. There were people that sold gold. There were people that sold stocks and other shit. They all got banned. This was like 2017, 2018. Then it was conspiracy theories. It was people pushing QAnon. It was people pushing Pizzagate. They get banned. Then it's people like a fake celebrity, a DEF list celebrity coming in and acting like there was some politician who had a party and he saw these kids being molested, Then, they get banned. And it just keeps going. And now we're here where they were targeting a science community, the debunking community, moved over to a debate community, moved over to a Teen Mom 2 community, and then moved over to a anti-Katie community. And
Though, just maybe a side note, someone had asked me, who is around Steve that's not toxic? And I couldn't come up with a name.
Oh no, yeah, that's what I mean. Thank you.
That's what's changed. That's what's changed.
Excellent point.
Yeah.
Because that's what you do when you go into a group setting and you basically get a large group of people together, and then by lying to them about what you're doing, and then you go, actually, we're here so that I can fucking manipulate people, steal from people, lie to people, and get my narcissistic supply from people. The majority leave, but then there's always like 3, 4, 5, 6 of them that are in the worst situation, that are at the worst point in their life, mentally or financially or whatever. Family issues, they stick around and find a little bit of solace in. Now, what is that other than a cult? A man going around sucking communities dry of money, getting called out for it, and then taking the lowest people, the worst off people, and using them as the next people to go out and bring in the fucking masses. That's a cult leader. If it goes on for long periods of time and the methodology becomes repetitious, scientific. I mean, shit, I have several, not just one or two. I remember doing the video where I talked about the several members of a community, I won't say which, who came to me and gave me the proof that Red's Rhetoric and Steve used to go and give classes where they would talk to the core group of people around them. And typically they would do this in person, right? They would all meet up and do this. And it would in a car ride or at a restaurant or on a hangout call, and instruct on how to do this shit, where you go in and fucking get a community and sap off of it and fucking run ways to get money, and then how you dodge and how you get away. I mean, you don't, when you have like 5 or 6 people that come and tell you the same story, and only a couple of them have even talked to each other in the last X amount of years, it starts to really fucking build the narrative that you're dealing with a coordinated and put together group. So anyway, it'll be fun seeing what happens next, at least, you know? What happens next, Spackle?
Well, I can say this. He needs to have some more valid people around him because EKC is the most valid person around her, and she obviously is a joke. So if he wants to be, rambling about his navel gazing like he likes to, he's going to have to find somebody that's willing to deal with his toxicity. And that's going away.
I mean about the Fraudraiser. Like, is he going to come out and try to explain where everyone's money went and try to explain how he didn't steal from them?
Nope. So what's going to happen, I think, this is what I think will happen. He's going to DARVO it like he's doing. He already did it. So he DARVO'd it and was like, it's Hades frivolously lawsuiting me. And he's already done that part. Not mentioning she only did it because it's a countersuit, but okay. And then
it's not that's insane though. Like, can we just talk about that for 2 seconds? How is her countersuit a frivolous? The countersuit is the thing that made him stop communicating and lay low. Like, that's it. He didn't lay low until she filed the counter. He didn't get scared. He didn't run away until the counter. Once that counter hit, he was done with this lawsuit. You know?
I mean, frankly, I wish that she'd follow through because, like, the way that he is litigious, like, he's got a list of people according to Red's Rhetoric. And after she's done, there's like 3 other people on his list that he's going for.
Oh, sure. He can't even follow through with a single lawsuit. Like, what's he going to do? Lay on a fucking, lay out back in a fucking alley and just go file lawsuits while streaming from a phone that he's got plugged into an extension cord? What the fuck's he going to do?
I think he was actually counting on Kyle to be collectible, and then he would use that to fuel other lawsuits.
Yeah, me too. Definitely. But see, that's because he's just not smart like he says he is. He's just an idiot. And
he would rather do that than do actual work. I mean, like,
have you heard about you ever heard about a guy named Acer Thorn?
No.
He's that dude I showed you where he's like accidentally live streamed And he tries to make himself appear like a normal person, but he live streamed and he's sitting in front of his computer just inhaling raw hot dogs.
Oh, yeah,
gobbling
yeah,
like
you showed me that. That's disgusting.
Yeah.
I wanted to vomit.
Okay, Acer Thorn is a Steve. He's literally what Steve is going to become. He streams from the dirtiest, most rundown room you've ever fucking seen. I mean, yeah, he doesn't even try to clean the walls. It looks like he's in a dungeon, okay? And he's filed frivolous lawsuits. It's all he does. He goes around and tries to make himself appear normal on the internet. And like he'll do the worst review ever, the worst discussion on something ever. People will commentate on him and he will sue them. And he just had his lawsuits thrown out of court. He's in his county. They've restricted him to only being able to file 3 lawsuits. I think it's like every 3 months or every month, because he's filed so many litigious lawsuits and they all get dismissed because he just goes in and makes it up himself and throws it out there. Then they started charging him $75 or some shit. They're like, if you're going to file, you're going to pay us, because you don't pay us and you keep filing more lawsuits. You don't pay your court fees. You're paying up front, bitch. That's what Steve's going to be. But like, all that's going to happen is these lawsuits are going to get thrown out. He's already got the worst record ever when it comes to suing people. He's lost so many lawsuits. He's just had this one thrown out, lied to. I couldn't even believe it. The motherfucker thinks that you can't criticize when you've got like his simps, like EKC up there lying to everybody, saying he's got this great suit, he's going to take down Katie, 2 weeks before the suit's about to be thrown out. Everyone knows he's not going to file it in court, or he would have done it right after he got the countersuit. That's when you're supposed to file that shit, not, 10 months later, right? But he thinks that we can't get up there and say, EKC's a lying fucking scammer, and so is Steve. Well, he thinks that we can't think.
They keep saying that EKC has no responsibility in this.
No, she does. She went, for every time she fucking said his lawsuit was good, and he didn't correct her. Every time after he knew, he had to have known after he got the counter. And we have video clips of him admitting that he knew. Because he said, well, we might not sue her in court, but we might go into mediation, but we're not stopping, right? So he knew, at least maybe a week or 2 or 3 after that countersuit, that he wasn't going to file in court. He knew it. So he had a responsibility when EKC's up there lying her fucking scammer ass off. He's got a responsibility to get up there and fucking correct her. He could have went from the live. He was in the live chat a lot of the time when she was doing this, and he didn't even type in the live chat like, "No, EKC, we're not even going to sue EKC. We've changed our mind." Literally, he hid this. He did what Molly did and Letitia. He hid information about his lawsuit and the decisions they were making, so hopefully someone else would throw some fucking money. Is what he did.
This is a message for EKC. It's the hypocrisy for me.
What? The hypocrisy? What does that mean? I don't want.
She always says that phrase. It's the hypocrisy for me.
Well, every time someone tells me what she says about something, which isn't that often, I'm always like, what the fuck does that mean? Like, I guess she said something about Unirock is hiding Zag Creation and Katie's husband's messages or something, right? Now,
Zag Creation's cracking me up. How you guys look like idiots? I'm like, you support Katie. I mean,
hold on though. Like, she puts out a tweet saying that I did something to someone's messages, which I didn't do. The only thing that happened after I uploaded my video, I might have hearted 6 comments. I might have responded to 2, and I didn't look at that shit until I logged in today and was told that she said this. And they literally just lie. They just make shit up and lie. And then that's what they try to claim Menace is doing, or myself is doing, when we criticize or we debunk them, even when we have evidence. And EKC knows. She knows she's lying, because when Menace puts out a fucking video clip that completely exposes his lawsuit as frivolous, she skips it. She doesn't play it. When I put out clips earlier on, I went in and debunked every claim in his lawsuit with his own words, right? All except for the VAWA. I debunked it using the picture of the fucking RO and taking the numbers off the RO, putting them into Google, and showing that it was VAWA. Okay, so she ignores that, which means she's trying to selectively show her audience information that will incite a donation and support, while selectively withholding the information that proves that EKC and Steve are lying. And this is the other sad part of this. When they said that Steve's lawsuit is the best lawsuit, it's a complete
she did say
lie.
that was EKC, right? EKC
Yeah,
said
but
this might be our best chance.
yeah, well, the thing is, while that's a complete lie, none of them were good lawsuits. He might, like, they're all equal, basically. So I just found out 7M fucked up in court, and Chrisley fucked up in court against Katie. Both of them, right before Steve did. So anyone out there, I'm sorry, I have no fucking dog in this fight. I don't get along with Katie or Steve or EKC or any of them. I apologize to anyone that thinks that Katie's going to get sued by any of these people. Really, though, should she be, for fuck's sake? We're YouTubers. Should YouTubers be sued by people? If there was a YouTuber that should be sued, it should be Molly or it should be Steve, because they live on defamation and lies. And that's the sickest thing. That's why it's projection. You'll notice this. You can literally classify these types of people when you first meet them. If you go in and notice they're doing this shit, it's always they're projecting their guilt out towards someone else. Really, they are criticizing. They're looking in a mirror is what they're doing when they're criticizing. Anyway, I'm rambling. Why is it hot in here? Is it hot in here? Or am I crazy? It's not even hot outside. Maybe I just need to jump in the shower. I'm going to jump in the shower. Oh, so that's the thing. Coming up next, if this was Katie, you would everybody would be demanding her to come up and be honest, demanding her to tell the truth, demanding her to give all the details, right? But this issue actually is a win for Katie. Okay, so what they're doing right now, let's end this out. They are, oh, thank you, Spackle. Appreciate you being here. Jump in next time I do this. Talk with me. Appreciate it. All right. So to end this out, we've got them trying to redefine what a win in court is. Okay? So EKC, I wasn't going to bring her up in this, but since Spackle I don't mind that Spackle did. But since Spackle did, I'm going to go ahead and bring her up. So Steve and EKC are trying to redefine what a lawsuit victory is. And I'll try to do this real quick because I need to get in the shower, but this is how they're doing it. So factually speaking, he filed a lawsuit against Katie that he crowdfunded and promised everybody that it was going to be taken to the fucking judge, to the court, to the fucking jury. Lied his ass off for months, soaked up $5,000, got his countersuit, shut down everything, went silent to everyone other than trying to keep spreading his lawsuit. It's like EKC and a lot of them were sharing the lawsuit more than Steve. It was so that, once people noticed that he kind of tucked tail and ran after the countersuit, he wouldn't have as many clips of him sharing the lawsuit to be called a scammer. Luckily, we've got a bunch. But anyway, the point is, they're trying to redefine what a win is. So him suing Katie and claiming all these things, a win for him would be, out of his own words, he stated he would be having a judge rule on this or having Katie admit to him through an agreement of some kind that she lied and he's right and all this garbage. And if Katie didn't admit it, then the judge was. That was his win. He promised it would go there. This has been retweeted by Menace. I've retweeted it. You can see the examples you're seeing are just a few of the many. Got me? So a win is not him taking in everyone's money, filing the thing to Katie. Now here's how everything works. Katie has a month to respond, and then they go to court with Steve going in and filing if Katie doesn't give him what she wants. Katie gave him a countersuit that I have. It is devastating. It has proof inside it that Steve fucking shared sealed, sensitive court documents involving a minor publicly on YouTube, on Twitter, and privately to people. It has a massive amount of proof that he did this. It has the law in it, which shows that this is a felony. And it has Katie proving, unlike in Steve's lawsuit, where $50,000 in damages has factually, by the law, been proven against her due to him sharing the minor's sensitive documents on Twitter. He shared it, he took it down really fast and realized that he clicked the wrong thing, and then went around saying that his lawyer gave him permission. Now, the lawyer can't. Now, you guys remember Wesley Snipes. He was in a lawsuit. He got in trouble, and he got up in front of the judge and he said, "Your Honor, my lawyer told me I could do that." Do you think that a lawyer telling you you can do something is a defense? It's not. Wesley Snipes lost. Steve can't use "my lawyer told me" as a defense. Now, by law, Katie was damaged by having a minor, sensitive documents involving a minor shared publicly and privately shared around too, which you don't do any of that with that kid's shit. And because of that, everyone who's seen this suit believes that, along with a few other things, is the reason why the minute his lawyers and Steve saw the countersuit, Steve ran like the fucking weaselly coward that he is. And he kept your money because he already spent it. But he didn't file his lawsuit. So we have the question, did he win? Would Katie have won if the roles were reversed? Would Steve have won if the roles were reversed and Katie had just dismissed the suit because she fucking didn't respond and all this garbage? Wouldn't Steve win? Wouldn't EKC and Steve? Yes, they're liars. Their word is worth nothing. Every liar, they lie. So they always go around saying that everyone else is lying. It's literally the nature of the fucking liar. What are you supposed to do as someone who doesn't get conned and doesn't get duped by these ignorant people? You got to be smart enough to look at the evidence and ask yourself which person is lying. Because, of course, whoever they're lying on is going to tell you they're not lying, and the liar is going to tell you they're not lying. It's time for EKC to admit that she's lied, that she conned her audience, that she worked with Steve to do this, that she's never given an independent thought the whole time she's been on the platform, and she's a mouthpiece. She's a mouthpiece, literally, to spew anything good for her fucking overlord. Now, I hate to say it, but when you've got like 5 or 6 adults who all serve a single other adult through the internet to help them make money and get sex and all this, wouldn't that be a cult? Yeah, I think you could call it a cult by now. Anyone that tried to deny me this months ago. But one thing's for sure. Katie won. You want to know why Katie won? Because if you look at the paperwork, there is something that he has. There is a negative that Steve is going to experience due to letting this get thrown out of court and dismissed with prejudice. Katie is owed her lawyer fees, and I can prove it. It's in the papers signed by McRae. If he sits on his feet and he doesn't follow through, then, as you all know, if you go read the document with his signature on it, he has to pay her fucking lawyer fees. Now, will Katie pursue him for the lawyer fees? Would you? He's a fucking homeless dude who lies to people on the internet to make them think that he's got some fucking nuclear degree. No. What are you going to get? What are you going to do? You're going to go fucking like pull a fucking thing on Google to where every bit of his AdSense that gets paid out, you can collect some of it? Well, all he'll do is turn off his monetization and collect it all through PayPal. That's all he'll do. So maybe she will, maybe she won't. But that's the proof that he lost. He is the one who is experiencing the negative here. He didn't get justice. He didn't get the point of his fundraiser completed. He didn't get anything that he set out for. And on top of that, before my phone dies, I got to charge this next time I do this. He also has been exposed as exactly what I said that this entire group was back in January of 2020. Hashtag what?